As we covered here previously, on July 4th, Kanye West announced that he is running for president. Okay, some filing deadlines have already passed. He's not on record with that VC. I did not most of them, a few of them in key states, but that's okay. So now Forbes has sat down with him for a comprehensive interview about his thoughts on Biden, on Trump, on different political issues, on how he decided to run. I mean, it's one of these things where you're sort of like, you sort of hate covering it because it's kind of stupid, but it's also extremely interesting what goes on in this man's head.
Look, I mean, come on, he's a pop culture icon. So he says, Obama's special, Trump is special. We said Kanye West is special. America needs special people. Bill Clinton, special. Joe Biden is not special, he says. I thought that was a particularly funny quote.
That's actually kind of a better line of attack against Biden that Trump has managed to muster to this point.
I totally agree. Which is like, hey, look at this guy. He's not special. That's what Trump was fantastic at in 2016. He has some other stuff. I mean, I think the most substantive thing he says, we're going to talk about some of the dumber things that he says. He says that he is okay, because mainly the criticism against him was you're going to draw black votes away from the Democratic Party. He says he's okay with siphoning off black votes from the Democratic nominee, thus helping Trump. I'm not denying it. I just told you. To say that black vote is Democratic is a form of racism and white supremacy. That's kind of been Kanye's, I mean, that's part of the reason that he put the hat on in the first place. He was like, I refuse in order to not be able to support somebody that I think I should be able to support. I think he says in the interview that he would be running as a Republican if Trump were not president, so that's why he's running for independent.
If Trump is there, he'll run as an independent.
That's right.
Yeah, he said specifically on wearing the MAGA hat, one of the main reasons I wore the red hat as a protest to the segregation of votes in the black community. Also, other than the fact that I like Trump hotels and the saxophones in the lobby. So there you go. Some deep thoughts on that. He criticized, so he says that he's now officially with this interview taking the red hat off, so no longer supporting Trump. And he says, he has an explanation for that. About Trump 2020, he says, it looks like one big mess to me. I don't like that I caught wind that he hid in the bunker. That was the thing that he really, which is like, I mean, I don't know, it sort of weirdly makes sense that would be the thing that Kanye would really take issue with, that he went down in the bunker during the protests and that we all caught wind of that.
Yeah, I mean, there was he says what, the birthday party, because if he wins, it'll be everybody's birthday. Which is
his slogan is yes.
Yes.
Which actually is I kind of like that.
I kind of like it. Good. Say yes. It reminds me kind of the Obama one. I mean, largely in all of this, you're trying to just decode. You're like, well, what does this all mean? I mean, the real thing that I think we always have to avoid, right, is everybody felt this way about Trump in 2015. Everybody was like, oh, this guy's a joke. Like, what's he going to do? Turn Trump Tower into the White House, right? Like, put a giant Trump sign. I'm like, well, you know?
Yeah. So, at least he was early enough in the process and actually, like, competing with one of the major parties.
But, I mean,
so it was a little different.
In 2014, 2015, with all the rumblings, I mean, I had a lot of friends. I was on the White House press corps. It was the youngest White House press corps in history. And the reason why is because all of the people assigned to the press corps who were the young ones who were like, yeah, just go spend a couple weeks on Trump. And then, whenever Hillary wins or whenever Jeb Bush becomes president, you can do that. Well, turns out they got the luckiest gig in the world, and because they have all the right sources that they became White House correspondents. I mean, I'm not saying this is in any way near the same level of seriousness, but there's something there. I mean, the man is, like I said, pop culture icon. Millions listen to him. He probably this interview will get more eyeballs than any political news of the day. True. We have to grapple with that. If you don't like it as a society, I mean, it's not my favorite thing.
It is what it is. Yeah. No, I remember I actually interviewed Trump at that White House Correspondents' Dinner that year when he was talking about running, and everybody just was like, oh, it's just like a ratings ploy, and he's not going to really do it. And so I interviewed him I was doing like, red carpet VIP thing, just grabbing people as they come in. And so I asked him serious questions about running for president. And I felt kind of foolish afterwards because I was like, do I have to like take this guy seriously? Should I have done that? He's just like a publicity stunt. Turns out I actually made the right call in that moment because here he is, president of the United States. You remember how the Huffington Post, wasn't it? They're the ones that covered him under entertainment. Yeah.
Under the entertainment section.
So look, I mean, this is a very different situation. Kanye has missed a lot of the filing deadlines. He's not on record with the FEC at this point, with the Federal Election Commission. Who knows whether he does anything real with this other than like giving some interviews and talking. But there is some also look, some of what we've already said is pretty inflammatory, but there's some even more inflammatory stuff in here. I didn't know, maybe this was on record already, that he's like an anti-vaxxer. he comes out really aggressively against a potential coronavirus vaccine, saying that, what does he say? It's like
the mark of the beast.
Mark of the beast, yeah. So there's like some stuff like that in here, which is not good. To your chagrin, he loves China.
Yeah, he does.
Up China
he says, I love China. They changed his life and all of this. And I'm sure he manufactures his sneakers there, and that's probably why. Look, I mean, again, it's very easy to not take somebody seriously or not. I think we should take it seriously whenever people like this who have massive platforms begin to say things, and that's why I'm also very upset about his anti-vax, position here.
Yeah.
Really, what it is just like this weird, fascinating dichotomy of a person who is a pop culture figure in his own right, obviously dramatically famous, and the way that people look at politics, because that's one of the things which is that we can always forget, which is we look at politics so much through the day-to-day, and people actually hold conflicting opinions all the time. A lot of people are not rigidly ideological.
Most
They're actually
people
very
weirdos.
Look at news and like, oh, that's weird or not, and like it's like gut feeling. I'm not denigrating them. They're living their lives.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
fine. And so you're looking at this kind of through the lens of how someone in the entertainment industry might look at it. Sometimes that offers a fresh perspective, but I'm not saying that's necessarily the case here.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to take it seriously from the perspective of he has a loud megaphone.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the things that he says are going to get heard. Do you have to take him seriously as like a presidential contender? No, you do not.
Not right now.
You should not, because he's not filed. He's not doing anything other than talking. But those words can be powerful, and so that's why we are covering them here.
There you go. So that's our wrap.
All right, more rising for you after this.